Good day, YouTube. Got us a small dilemma here on one of the neighbor kids' YZ85 bikes. This one is a '08. The clutch in it won't disengage. So you pull the handle, the lever's moving and you can feel the resistance, but as soon as you put it in gear it stalls because the clutch won't come off. So we're going to have a look-see on this and see what's going on. Maybe you had the same problem. This might help you. Okay, so one of the things about the Yamaha series bikes, as you're probably aware, is to get at just the clutch, you don't have to pull off the entire side the way you do with some other manufacturers, and the Honda 85s are an example of that. Okay, here you just got to pull 6 bolts, and this pulls out the small cover that lets you service just the clutch. So you still have to drain the oil, but you don't have to drain the coolant side or pull off the entire cover. And you only need the one gasket. It's a little bit simpler process, but same thing's going to apply for many other of the two-stroke bikes with a similar problem, right? They're all pretty much the same clutches when you really get into the nuts and bolts. Once you get your 6 bolts out of the way, all you got to do is pull your cover. That should just pop off real easy. Okay, if you want one of them, what is it, life hack videos, you're looking for a nice low oil drain pan for your bike, just cut a jug in half. They're perfect for sliding under low things, and like that it'll hold about 1.5 liters, 2 liters. Costs you nothing, and you consider yourself an eco warrior. Alright, so the oil's drained enough. It's just going to continue to drip out a bit here. Before you go pulling anything apart, you want to make sure your clutch is actually working the way it's intended. So pull the lever and you should see movement there. So that means we're actually getting the activation like I figured all the way to here. But what I am noticing is the clutch packs are really stiff together. So we're going to have a look and see. Maybe there's some debris jammed in there somewhere, so it's stopping the clutch from disengaging fully. So we're going to go ahead and pull all this apart. So when it comes to the bolts on the clutch, they're not super tight, and they shouldn't be super tight. All you got to do is put it in gear and hold the back tire. You can do so by pushing the brake, and that'll stop you from easily turning the clutch, because once it comes up against that brake, it ain't gonna go. Not for this amount of torque anyway. So on a bigger bike it's a little more complex, but these are pretty easy to do. Alright, bolts are out. So I'll use a screwdriver there because I couldn't reach in with my fingers. And you're looking for any kind of debris or some foreign object. You can see that clutch is in really good shape. A lot of times what will happen is the basket here will get rings in it, and the clutch pack will sit in there and not move. But this one was filed recently because the clutch is not that old. And I can see that they're not bad at all. It can get a little tricky. Yeah, you can see these ones here are really stiff. I think maybe what happened is it just sat too long and maybe they got stuck. I'm not seeing anything that would indicate a problem. Yeah, some of these are pretty, yeah, that one's kind of stuck. Those two are stuck together. But you'd think the power of the bike would have popped those apart. So I think matter of just putting it, cleaning it up, putting it back together is going to be our answer. Yeah, it seems like the back three are kind of stuck together. Well, we'll see what's going on back here. You can see there might have just overheated a bit. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't seen this too often. Usually you got something broken here, but you can see here they're just stuck, and they come apart that easy. That one's actually in there pretty good. Okay, so I see no physical damage or excessive wear or debris going right back into the hub here. But the last two packs were a little bit stuck together. I'll zoom in here and show you what I was talking about. You can see here these grooves. A lot of times those will get pretty deep. These you can see them, but you can barely feel them. That is not enough for the clutch to bind on, not even close. These have been filed, and you go around and check them all. They're not bad. I mean, if the owner was feisty and had the money to burn, he could go buy a new basket or file that one a little bit more, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's just fine. I've put them together with much worse and never had a problem. So it appears the problem was the back three packs were somehow stuck together pretty hard, and all it needed to be done was pull apart and click them apart. They're a little sticky is all. And again, this is a pretty new clutch looking at it, so I think we'll be fine to just oil that up real good and put it back together. So when you're putting your clutches in, dunk them in oil. Right, you want lots of oil in there. And since our oil that we just drained is basically new by the look of it, so the maintenance was there, but something clearly was an issue. So to put your clutch back in, all you're doing is alternating friction disc to pressure disc. There's no master key or anything at this point. On the cover there is, but not for the actual discs. I know the young lad that drives this bike is a little bit hard on the clutch. He does ride it a bit. He's a beginner. So maybe that's what happened. But it doesn't seem to be any heat scoring or cracking. Again, I was fully expecting to see something broken in here. And sometimes you just got to pull stuff apart and have a look. Alright, so plenty of oil on the assembly, and you can see it just pouring out the bottom. Again, I just dunked it in the one that was there. On the covers on the YZs. So on the covers on the YZs, you actually have to line these up, where some other bikes you don't have to. You can see here there's circles. One of them has a triangle inside of the circle, which is that one. On the cover, there's a circle. The circle goes to the triangle. All right. If you try it, you can put it in 5 different ways, because obviously there's 5 bolts. But when you do, it won't sit flush. Okay. And the reason for that is the splines located right here don't line up with the clutch. They have to sit into these splines. All right. So circle to triangle, and it'll sit right flush. And that's what you're looking for. Any other way, and that clutch will not work. So 5 springs, 5 bolts. Okay, springs are all in, just put in loosely. Torque specs here is about 7 pounds. Do them in a star pattern, and again, the same thing. It's going to spin, put it in gear, and put the brake on. That's it. 7 pounds is not a whole lot. Remember, it's a tiny little bolt that goes into aluminum. I don't know how many times I see those broken because somebody went at them like a bear. Okay, not a whole lot to doing these. That's it, 7 pounds. Okay, operation, all the packs are moving nice now, not like they were before, so, hey, make sure you put your Yamaha up, otherwise it's a Ahame. Yeah, it doesn't go that way, so you can't do it. You can't do it wrong. And there's 2 dowels here and here to help you line it up. Alright, when it comes to bolts, you got 4 shorties and 2 longs. The 2 longs go in where the dowel pins are. Now you can torque them too, or I generally just snug them up. After doing so many, you get a feel for them. And I like to go diagonal as much as you can. It just gives you a better seal. Helps make sure you don't end up cracking or warping the case or the covers. Alright, we're all back together. Very simple fix. Last thing obviously is to add oil. I just use 1030 and it says right here on the case the volume. Okay, in this case it's half a liter. It says 500 cubic centimeters, which is half a liter. Gotta love that metric system stuff, eh? Liam didn't want to drive his bike, so Ashley's got to do it for him.
Come on, give it a more than